यद्यचित् वस्तुशेषिणे शेषशायिने निर्मलानंत कल्याण निधये विष्णवे नमः अखिल भुवन जन्म स्तेम भंगादिलीले विनद विविध भूत व्रातरक्षैक दीक्षे श्रुति शिरसि विदीप्ते ब्रह्मणि श्रीनिवासे भवतु मम परस्मिन् शेमुषी भक्तिरूपा तस्मै रामानुजार्याय नमः परमयोगिने यः श्रुतिस्मृति सूत्राणाम अंतर्ज्वरम अशीशमत्. Namaskaram to all of you. We are here to discuss about a stalwart who had established lot of services, customs and practices at Tirumala. It would be certainly the right place to talk about it. Being in the shade of Sri Venkateswara Swamy, it would in fact bring immense pleasure to Venkatesha here. If we know more about Swami Ramanuja, who was quite intimate to Lord Venkatesha. Although born in Sri Perumbudur and brought up in Kanchipuram, Ramanuja lived the best portion of his life at Sri Rangam. He had visited Tirumala thrice during his lifetime. Almost all the rituals that are being followed today at Tirumala were established 1000 years ago by Swami Ramanuja. The testimony to this fact is a book called Tirumalai Olugu, which was in fact dictated by Ramanuja and well recorded by the then existing Bhaktas at Tirumala. The Thomalai Kainkaryam, offering of flowers early in the morning and repeated in the evening, was a great practice established by Ramanuja. We are all aware that it's a competition to get a ticket for Thomala Seva, and it would be your lifetime dream if it comes true. The dream would have come true. That practice was established by Ramanuja himself. He was a great person who was a Vedanti, a philosopher. He did not stop with philosophy. Temple worship and religion was one pillar. If a human being must survive, sustain, and develop holistically, he needs support from different corners. One is his societal status. Does he earn for his living? Does he prosper? Is he happy with his family? These are all together makes him a social being. But that alone is not enough for his progress. The second pillar to him would be the spiritual progress with which the Atman is satisfied. And there is a third part to it. One is his body, his society, his coexistence. Then is Atman. There is a third part to it. Our mind, intellect, our emotions, our thoughts, our aspirations. All these three have to be addressed. To address this, the political situation must also be good. So the politics that becomes the fourth pillar. Ramanuja was a great person. The personality he was able to address all these four pillars. He was able to strengthen all these four so that the human being developed spiritually, physically, mentally, socially, and politically. If you develop, then you slowly get closer to divinity. This was the lifetime mission of Swami Ramanuja. I will take you through little excerpts from his life and history. You may already be aware of that. But still, there are strings attached to each happening in his life. There has been a beautiful thread that was woven throughout his life. The fabric was designed by Bhagavan himself. It was Sri Ranganatha, Venkatesha, Kanchi, Devadhiraja, and Melokote Cheluvanarayana, who immensely benefited from Swami Ramanuja. They nurtured him. They made him as a torch bearer for Sanatana Dharma. What happened in his life? Let's take some time and know this great person. We can make many difficult propositions to celebrate his 1000th year. But a simple way, an effective way, is to study what he told us, what he advised us, and try to live accordingly. Even if it's a little, if we make him pleased, of course I am sure Lord Venkatesha and Alarmelmanga Thayar would also be pleased. There is a shloka. We can take the clue from this very shloka. It seems learned scholars got together and debated. Is Ramanuja an incarnation of Sriman Narayana, or Vishwaksena, or Adishesha, or the divine weapons of Sriman Narayana? Who would it be? Sheshova, Sainyanatova, Shripatirva. Sheshova, is he an incarnation of Adishesha? Sainyanatova, did Senapati Advan, Senanatha, Vishwaksena incarnate as Ramanuja? Shripatirva, Sheshova, Sainyanatova, or was it the Sriman Narayana himself, Narayana, or Adishesha, or the 5 divine weapons, or Vishwaksena, someone has incarnated as Swami Ramanuja? Or would it be all of them together? It might be even so. Let us now see why all these people got together to incarnate as Swami Ramanuja. Each one has his own strength. Each one has an approach to religion and spirituality. Ramanuja took a leaf from the book of each one of these great personalities. Adishesha is known for his divine service. He serves the Lord wherever he is, along with his consort, Sri Mahalakshmi. Ramanuja adopted the service methodology of Adishesha. Ramanuja wanted us to serve in all the divinations. This service was the prescription of Adishesha. Secondly, Vishwaksena is the chieftain of Sriman Narayana's army. He controls this universe. He holds a royal wand, a staff with which he controls. Similarly, Ramanuja, the controller of the spiritual world, the controlling power, designing a system for people to reach Bhagavan. All these were taken from Vishwaksena and well adapted by Swami Ramanuja. I will further elaborate on that. Then on, the Pancha Ayudha of Sriman Narayana. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Khadga, Shanga. These 5, they have their own duties. Ramanuja took the power of each of these divine weapons and beautifully was able to wreath a garland. He was able to take the power from each one of them and well implemented to develop the society spiritually. How did that happen? Let us look into that too. And lastly, Sriman Narayana himself. What is Narayana known for? To grant moksha, to offer liberation, to take us all to Vaikuntha. Ramanuja absolutely did that too. So he can be debated. Is he the incarnation of Narayana, or Adishesha, or Vishwaksena, or the Panchayudha? He may be a collection of all the 4. Let us go through some small happenings, little short stories from his life and history. I had already told you that he incarnated as Adishesha. Adishesha incarnated as Ramanuja. For what? To establish service, lot of Tondu Tamil Solame. Tondu, Tonda, service, Kainkaryam. This word Kainkaryam is very important in Shiva Vaishnavite Sampradaya. Kainkaryam would mean the job, the bounden duty of a servant. Every Jivatma is a Shesha of Paramatma. It's so well acclaimed with Adi Shesha. We call him as the first and the foremost Shesha. Shesha, a servant, one who takes up anything only to bring glory to his master, is a Shesha. If you are called as a Shesha, how can I define Sheshatvam? Paragata, Atishaya, Adane Chaya, Upadeyattameva Yassa Swarupam, Sashesha, Parasheshi. This is the definition given by Ramanuja in his work for Sheshatvam. Paragata, Atishaya, Adane Chaya, Paramatma Venkatesha. Paragata Atishaya. If a servant of Venkatesha resolves that hereafter I will resort to only those actions which will add glory to my Lord, I will abstain from all deeds that will not please my Lord, that will not bring glory to my Lord. If you take so, if you act so, you become a Shesha. And Sheshi is Paramatma who accepts the services from a Shesha. Who can be counted as the first Shesha? Adi Shesha, the serpent bed of Sriman Narayana. Adi Sheshan is known for his different services and all services. Alvar in one Pausharam says this: Shendral Kudayam, Irundal Singadhanamam, Nindral Maravadiyam, Nirkadalul Yendrum Punayam. Swamy Alavandar beautifully translates this Tamil Pausharam into Sanskrit in Stottana Ratana, Nivasha, Shayya, Asana, Vahana, Amshuka, Upadana, Varisha, Atapavaranadivihi, Sharira Bhedehi, Tava Sheshatangataihi, Yathochitam Sheshayitirite Janaihi. We all call Adi Shesha as the first Shesha because Nivasa is the bed when Bhagavan wants to sleep. He is the Paduka, the holy sandals, when Bhagavan wants to walk. He becomes the seat, the Simhasana, when he wants to sit. He becomes the umbrella when Bhagavan wants to set on a journey. Nivasa, Shayya, Asana, Paduka. It is difficult for us even to take up one service in this temple. But Adisesha is so happy rendering all the services. Asana, Paduka, Amshuka, Upadana, Varsha, Atapavaranaadivihi, Sharira Bhedehi. We all know the story that when Vasudeva carried Krishna across the river Yamuna, Adisesha came and served Krishna as a great umbrella. It was raining a lot. He got wet. So Adisesha, to protect Krishna, started his service when Krishna was born. The day Krishna was born, Adisesha descended from Paramavadam, Vaikuntham, to serve him physically. He had also taken birth as Balarama to serve Krishna. He was born as Lakshmana to serve Rama. It is said that in the first Yuga, Krita Yuga, Adisesha is in his own original form, Anantah Prathamam Rupam. In the second, Lakshmanastu Tatah Param. During the regime of Rama, it was Lakshmana. Adisesha incarnated as Lakshmana and served Rama. Balabhadraha Tritiyastu. Then in the third Yuga, Balabhadra to Krishna. Kalau Ramanujas Tada. During Kali Yugam, Adisesha incarnates as Ramanuja and does all services. So service is the best prescription of Adisesha. Shesha, the word itself stands for bounden service by an Atman. It is also said that Akinchit Karasya Sheshatva Anupapatti. This is a Samhita Vakya. Akinchit Karasya. If I don't offer a little service at least to God, then I cannot be termed, I cannot be called as a Shesha. We are all Sheshas. We all have Sheshatvam. But we will realize that Sheshatvam only if you render at least a little service. Not little. Adisesha rendered a lot. So Swamy Ramanuja rendered lot of services as was done by Adisesha. So he incarnated as Swamy to establish this. The most important principle of Shiva Vaishnava Sampradayam, Vishittadvaita Siddhantam, is Kainkaryam. We all talk about Kainkaryam. Bhagavad Kainkaryam, Bhagavata Kainkaryam, Acharya Kainkaryam. The temple authorities will request you, please come, participate in the Kainkaryams. What happens when we do some Kainkaryam? When we participate in physical Kainkaryam, monetary, financial Kainkaryam, or even meditation is a little part of Kainkaryam. Even your mental Kainkaryam, vocal Kainkaryam. You can go around and do pracharam. You can spread the word of Venkatesha everywhere. You can talk about Ramanuja. You can talk about Alvas. People will become aware. Don't think that just talking won't do. It will also do some good. Yes, physical service is much better to talking. Talk and also do physical service. So Ramanuja took upon himself to spread the message of universal brotherhood, equality to one and all. And to do that, he needed a lot of power. One must be a great orator. Was he? Ramanuja was a great orator because he was an incarnation of Adishesha who had 1,000 hoods. So 1,000 tongues. Can you imagine the power, the collective power of 1,000 tongues together? So Ramanuja had such an oratory quality. He excelled in his oratory because he was an incarnation of Adishesha. Adishesha had 1,000 tongues and that vocal power. Ramanuja also had the same with his background. Let us see, when was he born, where was he born, and who made his birth possible. It was none other than Tiruvallikeni Venkata Krishna Perumal. In Chennai, in the very heart of Chennai, Tiruvallikeni is a great Divyadesham sung by Tirumangi Alvar, the presiding deity. The main deity is Ranganatha Perumal, Mannatha Perumal, the reclining Bhagavan. But somehow, today the main deity is, although still the Sthala Purusha is Ranganatha Perumal, the main popular deity is Gita Acharyan, Venkata Krishnan, Partha Sarathi Perumal. Tirumangi Alvar sings the glory of this Perumal as Virperu Vilavum, Kanjanum Mallum, Vedamum Pahamum Vida Chattavan Tannai, Purameriseida Shivanuru Tuyaragalai Teve, Pattalarviya Kolkayil Kondu Parthandan Thermun Ninnane, Shittavapaniyal, Mudithorandane, Tiruvallikeni Kandene. Tiruvallikeni Bhagavan stands in a standing posture in the banks of a little pond. The pond is called Kairavini Pushkarani. Allikeni in Tamil is Kairavani Pushkarani in Sanskrit. The father and mother of Swami Ramanuja did not have children for many long years. So they visited Tiruvallikeni. They took a holy bath in Kairavani Pushkarani and pleaded with folded hands to Parthasarathi Perumal to bless them with a child. Parthasarathi Perumal inquired, Hey Keshava Somayaji, Kantimati Amma, who would you like your son to be like? Your son should he be like Garuda, like Adishesha, like whom? Who should your son look alike? Quick came the reply, like you, O Lord. We would like you and your qualities to be blessed on our children. Bhagavan said, I cannot make a replica of myself. Instead, let me incarnate as Ramanuja. So even today, it's customary at Tiruvallikeni that for any Alvar and Acharya birthday celebration, which is known as Tirunakshatram celebration, the annual birthday celebration, Parthasarathi Perumal will grace the occasion. The Alvar would be present in a mandapa. Parthasarathi Perumal would reach that mandapam. The Swaprabandham, the works of that Alvar would be recited. All prasadams would be offered to Perumal. Bhagavan blesses this great ceremony, this function, except for Ramanuja's Tirunakshatram celebration. Bhagavan will not visit. Now, is it not very surprising that he visits for all other acharyas, but not for Ramanuja Tirunakshatram? Why? He is the foremost acharya. Why should Tiruvallikeni Parthasarathi not visit? Because he would be celebrating and visiting his own birthday. That's the reason he does not visit at all. So Tiruvallikeni Parthasarathi Perumal incarnated as Swami Ramanuja. The purpose was, what was the purpose for Gita Acharya incarnating? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tried to advise Arjuna a lot. He did succeed, but partial success, not a complete success. Krishna told Arjuna, do your duty. As a Kshatriya, your Karma Yogam is to fight. Fight. But not for the sake of victory, for the sake of performing your duty. Arjuna accepted Initially he was confused. Later he got cleared. Sthitosmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanantava. I am cleared of my doubt. I have regained my strength. I know I am Arjuna now. Let me fight the war as you advised me, Krishna. Yes, Arjuna did. But at the end of the war, keeping up his word, and as per the advices of Krishna, Arjuna should have surrendered to Sri Krishna, followed him wherever he went, served him till his last breath. This should have happened, but it did not happen. Arjuna did not surrender. Arjuna did not follow Krishna. He did not serve Krishna wherever he went. Instead, he happily resided in his kingdom. He ruled his kingdom. He was happy with his family. Krishna thought, although I preached Gita to Arjuna, I don't think it has been absolutely successful. It is not. So, I must take birth to further elaborate the meanings of Gita. Probably, I had mentioned about the shloka, which are not enough for this mundane world. Just the shloka may not give us many meanings. We may not be able to put the shloka to practice. Only if we realize the meaning of each shloka, we can practice the same. So, Thiruvallikeni Gita Charyan reincarnated as Swami Ramanuja and elaborated on the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. He wrote a beautiful commentary to Bhagavad Gita, which is named today revered as Ramanuja Bhashyam. This Bhashyam is the great elaborate commentary. Shri Vedanta Desika further elaborated on Ramanuja Gita Bhashyam, and that commentary is Tatparya Chandrika. The beauty of Gita Bhashyam is brought out well by Shri Vedanta Desika and Tatparya Chandrika. All of them took inspiration. They were inspired to write these works by Swami Alavandar. Alavandar Yamunacharya was the first one to write a short poem known as Gitartha Sangraham, having only 32 slokams, which talks about the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Alavandar Shishya was Periyanambigal. Periyanambigal Shishya was Ramanuja. So Ramanuja had this wealth of Bhagavad Gita knowledge from his Acharya's Acharya. Alavandar blessed Periyanambigal. Periyanambigal blessed Swami Ramanuja. This came in right from Gita Acharya's mouth. This is the only text which Bhagavan himself has opened his glorious lotus mouth and advised us. So Ramanuja wrote a commentary. Thiruvaranga Tamudana, the disciple of Swami Ramanuja, and more so, the disciple of Kuratalvan, he had written a good work. The name of that work is Ramanuja Nuttandadi. It has 108 songs, 108 stanzas, which talk about the glory, the importance of Ramanuja, the services rendered by Ramanuja. There he says, Mayan, Andru, Aivar, Taivar, Terinil, Sheppiya, Keethayan, Shemmai, Porul. Mayan, Sri Krishna. Andru, during the big war of Kurukshetra. Andru, Aivar, Daivar, Terinil, Aivar, Panchapandava. Daivater, Panchapandava's glorious chariot. Daivat Terinil, Sheppiya, Keethayan. Bhagavan, he preached Bhagavad Gita. Geetayan, Shemmai, Porul. Gita's meaning were not known then, but those meanings came to limelight only when Ramanuja incarnated. Geetayin Shemmai Purulai Odinar. I'll tell you why. There is a great Dividesham called Tirukkurungudi. It's almost the tip of Tamil Nadu. The southernmost point of Tamil Nadu is Tirukkurungudi. From there on you can reach Kanyakumari in an hour. Ramanuja once visits Tirukkurungudi. The presiding deity is Tirukkurungudi Nambi, Sundara Paripurnan, Vadivadagiya Nambi. Ramanuja worshipped him, offered his obeisances, he circumambulated, he was about to return. He took leave of Perumal. Perumal asked Ramanuja, it seems you have some secrecy in you. You have a secret method. What is the method that you follow that people are convinced about the supremacy of Narayana, are convinced about Veda and Vedanta? I tried convincing people when I incarnated, but I failed. I could not teach this. Instead, how are you successful? Why am I not successful? Ramanuja said, I can answer you, provided now that I am going to give you an answer, you become my Shishya. You would be my disciple. I would be your Acharya. Give me the respectful position of an Acharya and take up the polite position of a Shishya. I would of course teach you. The Nambi was taken aback. Now, but he was quite happy doing it. He brought a big Singhasana, made Ramanuja sit in that Singhasana, stood by the side of the Singhasana, and with utmost politeness listened to Ramanuja. Now you can tell me the reason. How is that you are successful and why am I not? Ramanuja told him, there is no great secret in this. The simple secret is, when you incarnate, you can only tell. Matta paratarannanyatu kinchidasti dhananjaya. Bhagavad Gita shloka says, Mattaha parataram na anyatu kinchidasti dhananjaya. O Arjuna, I am the supreme. There is none equal to me, none superior to me. I am the superior. I am the supreme. But it is too difficult to convince people if someone talks this language. If I tell you that I am the God, come, prostrate before me, you won't come. But if I instead point my fingers on Venkatesha and tell, there is Venkatesha, the universal God, the supreme God, he is Paramatma, Paratattva, Parambrahma, go. Take refuge in him. Go surrender to him. If I say so, then you will feel comfortable. If I tell that, I am the Lord, please come, you are not comfortable at all. This happened during the days of Indra. Rishis got together and approached Indra. Whom should we salute? Whom should we meditate upon? We would like to be liberated. Indra said, Mam upasva, meditate, Mam, on me. Meditate on me. The Rishis got wild. We asked you to guide us the right way, whereas you are misguiding us. Why did you say to meditate on you? Indra quickly, he said, not that I am the God, but since I am a part and parcel of God, since I am also his Shishya, I thought probably you can meditate on me. So that would not work at all. When Krishna incarnates, he can only say to meditate on him. When Ramanuja incarnated, he never talked about the glory of himself. Instead he said, here is Sriman Narayana, go, prostrate, offer your salutations, avarta sharanagati pannugo, that worked. Now Tirukkurumbudi Nambi listened to this. But he could not get a right answer because he thought, now when I incarnate, can I point at someone else and tell that he is the supreme? I cannot. Anyhow, the truth is that I am the supreme. So how can I incarnate and tell someone else as supreme? He quickly asked Ramanuja, why do you say so? I am the supreme. I am not lying. Ramanuja said, you are not lying, Paramatman. I know that you are right. You talk the truth. But unfortunately, you cannot talk the truth. Instead of you, we have to talk. You need not talk. Only if an Acharya talks about Bhagavan, we will be convinced. We will accept it. The very words of Bhagavan may not be acceptable as he doesn't belong to our jati. Swamy, why are you talking about jati? What jati are you mentioning here? There are no jatis in this world. Yes, no jati. But the jati I am talking about will exist even after 1 billion years. That jati is Jivatma jati and Paramatma jati. That will never get wiped off. Paramatma will ever remain Paramatma jati, the master, and Jivatma forever will be the servant, Jivatma jati. We are Shesha and he the Sheshi. We are the servants and he the master. We are the belonging and he the owner. Will this jati change? This will never change. Even when we go to Shiva Kuntam, he continues to be the master and I continue to be the servant. So this jati will ever exist, and don't get worried that we are all servants. Be happy that we are. There was one Acharya, Periyavachan Pillai, who wrote commentary on all the 4,000 Divya Prabandhams. An old lady approached him. She said, I am very worried that I am born again and again. And the cycles of birth and deaths, they are not stopping at all. I am very worried during my last breath whether I will be given another birth. Periyavachan Pillai said, have you performed surrender? Have you done your Sharanagati? Yes, we have done. Then don't worry. Bhagavan will give you. Lead the right life. She said, yes, I am leading. But still, I do not know the way Bhagavan would decide.